Hello guys and welcome to Football TV. Today we'll be discussing top 10 goal scorer in the World Cup's history. Make sure you watch to the end. Thanks. The 10th top goal scorer in the history of the World Cup is Gabriel Batistuta, who played for Argentina in the World Cup in 1994, 1998 and 2002. He scored 10 goals in 12 appearances and he managed to average a total of 0.83 goals per game. If Lionel Messi had Gabriel Batistuta in his side, Argentina would have never lost the game. Batistuta scored 54 goals in 77 appearances for Argentina, and the Fiorentina legends delivered a World Cup, becoming the first player to score a hat-trick in 2 World Cups against Greece and Jamaica, respectively. The 9th highest goal scorer in the history of the World Cup is Gary Lineker, who hails from England. He played in the World Cup in 1986 and 1990, scoring 10 goals in 12 games for England, had an average goal ratio of 0.83 goals. Gary Lineker is the only Englishman to have ever won the Golden Boot, having secured this achievement at the 1986 World Cup by scoring 6 goals for England. When Argentina defeated England 2-1 with Diego Maradona scoring the Hand of God goal and the other goal of the century, it was Lineker who recorded England's solitary strike. The 8th highest goal scorer in the history of the World Cup is Helmut Rahn. He played for West Germany in the World Cup in 1954 and 1958, scoring 10 goals in 10 games. He had an average goal ratio of 1 goal per game throughout the World Cup. With 10 goals in 10 games, Helmut Rahn boasts one of the best World Cup strikes rates of all times. However, none were bigger than the 2 he scored in the 1954 World Cup finals against Hungary, side that hadn't lost any single match in 4 years. Accordingly, Rahn is the main protagonist in a match that is now referred to as the Miracle of Bern. The 7th highest goal scorer in the history of the World Cup is Jürgen Klinsmann, who represented Germany in the 1990, 1994 and 1998 World Cup. He scored 11 goals in 17 games and he had an average goal ratio of 0.65 goals per game. Klinsmann's first World Cup for West Germany was his most memorable, helping the team to the trophy while delivering a sensational performance against Netherlands in the round of 16, finishing with 3 goals. In 1994 he added 5 goals and in 1998 3 goals, becoming the first player to ever score at least 3 goals in 3 consecutive World Cups, a feat later matched by Ronaldo Nazario and Miroslav Klose. The 6th highest goal scorer in the history of the World Cup is Sandor Kocsis. He represented Hungary in the 1954 World Cup, scoring 11 goals in 5 games. He boasts an average goal ratio of 2.20 goals per game. Well, you won't see a better goal per game average than these 2.20. Sandor Kocsis led Hungary to the final of the 1954 World Cup single-handedly after scoring 3 goals against South Korea, 4 against Germany, twice against Brazil and twice against Uruguay. At club level, Kocsis will play for Barcelona between 1958 and 1965, scoring 82 goals in 126 appearances for the Blaugrana. The 5th highest goal scorer in the history of the World Cup is Pelé. Pelé represented Brazil in the 1958, 1962, 1966 and 1970 World Cup, scoring 12 goals in 14 games, had an average goal ratio of 0.86 goals per game. With 3 World Cup titles, 58, 62 and 70, many regard Pelé as the finest international footballer of all times, if not the greatest. In 58, Pelé finished with 6 goals and at the tender age of 17 was named the tournament's best young player. His flicks and volleys against Sweden in the final is still remembered as one of the finest solo goals of all times. And the 4th top goal scorer in the history of the World Cup is the France international Just Fontaine. Represented France in 1958 World Cup, scoring 13 goals in 6 games, had an average goal ratio of 2.17 goals per game. If you are wondering who scored the most goals in a single World Cup tournament, it's the Frenchman Just Fontaine. At the 1958 World Cup in Sweden, Fontaine scored 3 against Paraguay, 2 against Yugoslavia, 1 against Scotland, 2 against North Ireland, 1 against Brazil and 4 against West Germany. For the sake of comparison, the performance of Pelé at that tournament is more widely remembered since Brazil won it all. he finished joint second highest with 6. The third highest goal scorer in the history of the World Cup is Gerd Müller, who represented West Germany in the World Cup in 1970 and 1974. Scored 14 goals in 13 games and had an average goal ratio of 1.08 goals per game. For 32 years, Gerd Müller held the record as one of the World Cup all-time leading goal scorer. He managed to hold that feat despite playing 2 World Cup. In 1970, he recorded a ridiculous return of 10 goals in 6 games, and in 1974, he helped Germany win the title by scoring 4 goals in 7 matches, including the game-winning goal against Netherlands in the finals. With a career total of 735 goals from 793 games, a 0.92 average goal per game, the Bomber is one of the most prolific goal scorers of all time, and the second highest goal scorer in the history of the World Cup tournament is Ronaldo Nazário, representing Brazil in the 1994, 1998, 2002 and 2006 World Cup. He scored 15 goals in 19 games and had an average goal ratio of 0.79 goals per game. Ronaldo Nazário made Brazil's 1994 squad as a 17-year-old, but didn't play, and although the phenomenal managed 3 goals at the 2006 World Cup, injuries and weight issue made him a shadow of his former self. Despite tearing his cruciate ligament in 2000, Ronaldo led Brazil to its 5th World Cup title in 2002 while scoring 8 goals, including 2 against the previously unbeatable Oliver Kahn in the World Cup finals. And the highest goal scorer in the history of the World Cup is Miroslav Klose, who hails from Germany. He represented Germany in the 2002, 2006, 2010 and 2014 World Cup, scoring 16 goals in 24 games, had an average goal ratio of 0.67 goals per game. When it comes to discussing the greatest footballers of all time, Miroslav Klose rarely ever warrants a mention, but his international record is truly outstanding with 71 goals in 137 appearances for Germany. Very few strikers in the modern era come close to matching Klose's rate of scoring goals. What more, he always delivered on the biggest of stages. Most footballers will be happy with just one of Klose's tournaments. He delivered on 4 separate occasions.